Back with us on the SportsMax Zone, India, England, the third test, a day-night affair. It starts Wednesday, February 24, 4 a.m. in the morning if you're in Jamaica, 5 a.m. if you're outside. Well, earlier on this Tuesday, Cricket West Indies announced the return of international cricket to the region with Sri Lanka's all-format tour of the Caribbean from March 3 to April 2. The teams will play 3 T20s, 3 one-dayers, and 2 tests. All games will be played inside a biosecure environment in Antigua and Barbuda. The T20s will be played at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, the first ever international games to be played at that venue, while the ODIs and the tests will be played at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Now, still on a high from their surprise 2-0 test series win. Well, before we do that, this is the schedule. So you can mark your calendar for the games. Those of you who are down there, who knows, maybe like this India-England series, lucky fans will be admitted to watch some of the games in a socially distant and safe manner, of course. Now, the West Indies head coach Phil Simmons says he is happy with the potential selection headache he now faces following the team's 2-0 series win in Bangladesh. This is what Simmons has been saying. I would like to see this group continue to learn. From the first practice we had to know there has been so much learning. You want people fighting for their positions. He continued. You want when you pick people, they know that they have to perform because people are waiting to come in if they don't. And that's when your cricket starts moving forward. Let's hope this is the start of the upward movement. Well, ahead of the tour of Bangladesh, several senior players, including the regular test captain Jason Holder, opted out of the tour due to COVID-19 concerns. Holder apart, Roston Chase, Shamar Brooks, Shea Hope, Shimron Hetmeyer, and Shane Dorrich also decided not to tour. Now, fitness permitting, Wayne Lewis, Secretary of the West Indies Players Association, I'm putting you on the spot. Which of these men must be named in the squad to face Sri Lanka? And I'm talking about the group that I just mentioned, the Jason Holder, Shamar Brooks, Shea Hope, Hetmeyer, Shimron Hetmeyer, all of those guys. Should they be brought back in just like that? Or must you go with the guys who toured Bangladesh?
First, good afternoon, George and Maria. Good afternoon to all our viewers. Why you keep putting me on the spot? I'm not a selector. And we tend not to speak on selectoral issues. However, you asked me a direct question. I'm going to answer. I think I don't know about what should say players in the team who must be selected and so on. However, my expectation is that maybe Jason Holder, Ralston Chase, and Shimmer Hetmeyer, those are the 3 I expect to definitely be penciled into the squad going forward. I'm sure that I'm not a selector, and therefore they'll be looking at other players as well. But I can imagine that those 3 definitely will be are expected to be selected. So there you go.
But all right, in practical terms, how should this go? It's a home series, so you can maybe carry around a lot more players than you would on tour.
No, because of the biosecure and the whole protocol surrounds it, they really have to stick together. You're not allowed to just bring in someone like that.
No, man, by that I meant pick a bigger squad and keep them in the biosecure environment.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So if you can do that, the men who went to Bangladesh, would you be upset, just as a cricketing fan? And I know Whipper's considerations will come in because, of course, you have an interest as the players' bargaining unit. But would you personally, would you from an administrative perspective be upset if the West Indies announced that, look, we are going with the squad that toured Bangladesh at least for the first, you can't go for the first test, you have to have everybody one time. So it's just 2 tests. For the 2 test series against Sri Lanka, we're going with the team that toured Bangladesh. We'll consider other options after this series. Would you be upset with that?
I'll be surprised. I don't know about upset. I'll be surprised should they want to stick with this particular squad with so many.
Would it find favor with you if they said that?
Why are you doing this to me, George? I mean,
no, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm just asking you you've declared that, of course, you're not speaking as Whippers Wayne Lewis. You're talking as a cricket fan, and you can't separate both.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best way I can answer is I'm expecting some of the players who opted not to go to Bangladesh to be included in the squad based on their previous or past performance. Also, there are some players in the team who haven't been performing well over maybe a year or the last 2 years. I don't expect to see those players in the squad. However, you made a good point in terms of the fact that you'll have a bigger squad. Similarly to what they did in England, where they took like 25 players to England to ensure that they can have enough players for preparations and so on going into each game. So with that in mind, I expect a number of them to be involved or included in the squad based on the fact that they need a lot of players to facilitate and help out in terms of the preparations.
What say you, Moran?
For games.
George, because this Cricket West Indies has always purported that, they're never going to victimize any players for opting not to go because of personal reasons and COVID-19, I don't think that will play a part whatsoever. I think we're actually going to be seeing a lot of the players that opted not to go, and they're going to say that, first of all, they can't victimize them for choosing not to go because they kept singing that tune, as well as as Wayne said, they're going to look at their past performance. I'm actually expecting to see Shai Hope join the bunch.
But what would Shai Hope have done in the time since he was dropped to tell the selectors that he's ready again for international cricket? Is the question.
He would not have done anything. But remember, when they gave him the rest, they did say that he's going to be working on his fitness. They are putting things in place. It's not as if they're just resting him and he's doing nothing. So they would have known, based on whatever evaluation that they have them doing, what he has been doing.
And that's an interesting point, because he had done nothing to be selected to go to Bangladesh based on the fact that he was not selected for the tour of New Zealand, because there were no cricket being played, no four-day cricket, but they still opted to select him, because I think he's a touch player, he's a good player.
But let's get it straight though. Mariah said that the break was for him to get his fitness and everything in order, but his fitness wasn't
He's
the
not
issue.
there, he's on COVID, he has COVID.
But the fact of the matter is that there has been no cricket of the kind to allow Shai Hope to show that he's back in form. So
and he has COVID.
Yeah, well, he had COVID. I don't know if he's, well, you would know if you say he has, as if he's still.
No, I'm not certain. He had. Let's use the word.
So he had COVID, right. So I'm saying for him and others, and
he's not playing any cricket.
It's good that Mariah has brought him up, because we can use that Mariah to talk about those others who have not been a part of the test setup, who have not had the chance to score runs to show that they should get back. Are people going to be clamoring for them is the question.
I don't like this word about victimization. I mean, you looked at the team. I mean, these guys were playing for quite some time, even though we weren't doing well. They brought in some players, and I was very philosophical about it. And I said, I'm hoping that these guys will hold on to this opportunity that, is given to them, are given to them. And they did well. So therefore, a lot of those players weren't particularly doing well, but they were still carried. They were still in the team. Now that these guys have performed so well, there's absolutely it's a no-brainer that you'd want to keep them. And even the coach, Simmons, talked about the fact that he'd like to keep the nucleus of these players, and they have learned so much in moving forward. I can't imagine that the selectors would be brave enough to want to exclude any of those players.
No, Wayne, I get exactly what you're saying, and I can understand why you say that you don't like my choice of word victimization. But what I'm saying is you have to remember that Cricket West Indies, their mantra and what gave them the position that they are in now is the fact that they pushed the narrative that they are not going to make any player feel less, or when selecting, feel any type of way because they opted not to go. That would never be a consideration. So me not wanting to play in one test will never have anything to do with me playing in the next test.
It's not that
and if they did that, it would go against what they preached.
Right, it's not like I said, I'm saying I don't like the word that you use. I'm just trying to say, because I'm a part of that. In part of the negotiations, that there should be no victimization.
But I could say this though, I could say this. Look, victimization is a specific thing.
Are you going to prove that?
And that's where I'm going. Cricket West Indies can say, Wayne, can say, Mariah, that us not picking so-and-so, it's not victimization, we just didn't pick him.
No, they can't just do that.
No, we mean they can't do that.
No, they can. Okay, let me say can. However, it's going to stir up a lot of ants there. I'm just simply saying, for example, if for example, Jason Ola should not be selected.
No, but we don't expect.
I'm just saying.
You can't choose.
It's a point I'm making. I'm making a point.
Wayne, you're a wicked man. You're a wicked man.
You know why you're a wicked man?
You know why you're a wicked man? You know why you're a wicked man?
Why am I?
Because you've chosen the best of those who didn't go to Bangladesh to make your point. You can't do that. Because you expect Jason Ola to make the team.
No, but George, you don't know the point I'm going to make. I'm trying to say, in terms of victimization, should Jason Ola not be selected in the team, then you could say, well, something's wrong with that. That sounds like victimization. But if I know
sounds like victimization. Sounds like
it would be. It would be cause for concern. But if certain players are not selected, I don't know that you can come out and say victimization. I don't know
why you're raising your octave. We can do this, but I want to keep it at an even keel. I'm saying, in the same way that motive is difficult to prove in court, it's difficult for you to prove that this man wanted to murder that man, which is why what he did ended up killing him. I'm saying, if Cricket West Indies chooses not to pick certain players, and we expect Jason to be picked, so that's why I'm saying it's a bad example to use. If Cricket West Indies chooses not to pick a guy, Nobody can say you didn't pick him because of victimization, because victimization is a specific thing.
But you're assisting me there. I'm just trying to say to you.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
A particular player, I don't want to call any names, but if a particular player has been failing for some time,
he's not
opted not to go and is not drafted in the squad now, then there can't be victimization.
Whomever is not picked, it can't be victimization.
Yeah, but however, if a JS owner, for example, who is
it can appear to be victimization.
George, this is the point I'm making.
You know what?
None of us can prove that. I'm saying
and that's the point
it would cause for concern that you say, listen, this looks like victimization because I think JS owner should be in the squad. He's good enough to be in the squad. Why wasn't he selected? We could look at that and say that could be considered
has an
victimization.
excellent problem. A problem it hasn't had in a long time.
I don't know it's a problem.
Of course it is. Because if people don't get picked, people will say it's victimization.
Well, I think Wayne has a point, George has a point.
Thank you very much, Maria.
Send us
Wayne has
notes.
no point.
But we're going to take a short break, and of course, when we come back, David Brooke is standing by. He's going to talk to us about India versus England.